So, Zach,
Yes, Jeff.
our listener has become accustomed to a certain standard production value.
They sure have.
And in particular, I mean the intro.
Yes.
I say about this. But we might have to disappoint them today.
I don't think we have one, yeah.
Yeah, because, well, today's episode might be a little long.
It might be a little long. We are talking about a year in the past and a year in the future. So that's quite a lot of time already. So
That's a lot to talk about. So instead of having an intro, let's just get to it.
let's just get straight to it, to the 2-hour episode. Hello and welcome to the Arena Regulars podcast. This is episode 11. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are regulars on Magic the Gathering Arena. And regulars, and we're just regular guys.
Right.
We're just regular people.
Yeah, the regulars is going a long way here,
Yeah.
Describes our playability, average.
Average, regular.
Yeah.
And also that we can kind of consider Arena our bar.
Yeah.
We're regulars at the bar. We drink at it.
Especially this past year.
Yes, especially past this year. This past year.
Yeah.
Because we can't go to other bars. But anyway, we got a great show for you today. We are going to talk about the last year of Magic Arena.
Speaking of which.
Yeah, the last year in general, basically. And then what we are expecting from the next year of Magic and Arena. And we have some hot takes for you that we think are what's going to happen, what's going to come.
I'm excited for those.
This is going to be pretty fun. But before that, each week we both bring a beer, we drink our own, then drink each other's, and then rate them on a scale of bronze to mythic, and then choose the best for last. So with that, Jeff, what is on tap?
All right, so I brought a beer that I know and love, and it's called Jelly King. So this is from Bellwood's Brewery. Bellwood's kind of well-known brewery around Toronto for doing small batch barrel stuff with. They always use wild yeast, so everything kind of is sour. Like they have sour stouts and sour this and sour that.
They kind of have like sour, and then everything is like IPAs.
Right.
So it's either like you're drinking 3 or 4 different sours they make, or some crazy IPA they have.
But even when I first moved to Toronto, they weren't that as ubiquitous as they are now. They didn't have tall cans of stuff, which they're starting to get now. Everything was in a half-liter bottle.
Yep.
And you couldn't get them kind of all over the world. But now I see them, people
More
from
places.
Calgary are like, oh, I know Bellwoods, or,
Which is great. So awesome. I used to live in that neighborhood, and it was just the best.
Yeah. So they used to just have basically big beers, stouts and IPAs. And now they have a lot of mainstream stuff as well. But it used to be that everything they had was soured because they always used the Brettanomyces yeast strain. Anyways, Jelly King is kind of my go-to sour beer.
So good.
Probably my favorite one. And they always release all these different kinds of it. So this particular one is a raspberry blackberry Jelly King.
Ooh.
Yeah, the bottle art has like a mosaic tapestry, I think is what we decided to.
They have a lot of those mosaic kind of like rug looking things. Like you could see the design would be on a rug. You'd be like, that's a rug.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's so it's on the bottle.
That's the only way to describe it.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's 5.6% and it's a sour.
Yeah.
What did you bring?
So
something
Jeff,
normal, right?
Oh, so something super normal. When you think about a beer and the flavors, how many flavors do you usually think that you're going to get out of one beer?
2.
2? Yeah. Okay, what if I said I could give you twice as many? I could give you 4.
Well, I'm interested.
4. So I brought a blueberry, chocolate, coffee, and vanilla sour.
You're a madman.
Yeah. It's actually the same color as your beer, which is pretty cool.
Both sitting here with like pinkish purple beers.
Yeah, it's just the weirdest thing. We're both like, you know what? Purple beer this week.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Both brought berry beers.
Yeah. But this is from Collective Arts and Stillwater. It's a sour. It's 5.5%. And the can has like a picture of this guy, and he's just got a hole in his face that kind of shows a different dimension, I guess. I don't really know. But it tastes like a blueberry chocolate sour, basically.
Nice.
It's great. Yeah. I like it. We have some Magic news for you. Hey, this episode's being pre-recorded.
Whoa, I thought we weren't going to tell them that. I thought that was a big secret.
No, I thought it'd be kind of nice to just let everyone know that we're talking from the past. The super past. We're always talking from the past.
Right.
But this is like several weeks in the back. Right now, Jeff is on the holiday, basically.
Yeah.
So we were apart. So we couldn't do that. But yeah, basically tomorrow is 2021. How exciting. that I'm so excited for tomorrow to be 2021.
Right.
It's going to be really nice. I'm just, really ready to get into the new year. But there's an F&M. It's Historic Brawl Showcase, where there will be Historic Brawl with pre-constructed decks for you to play. So if you haven't tried it before, it's pretty fun. And this way you don't even have to work that much at building a deck or finding one. You just get to play one, which is great.
It's interesting. Be curious what decks they have available there.
Yeah. I'm very excited tomorrow to see what
Yeah.
those decks will be.
I'm sure that information will have been released.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, maybe. And then after that, there is a Historic Brawl event from January 2nd to the 8th. Cool. So if you play on the Friday, then you can be like, ooh, maybe I'll build this deck and then play it the whole week.
Yeah, I like that 1-2 punch. Here are some deck ideas to kickstart your creative juices before we bring it back.
Yeah, it's not. I like them kind of keeping all the F&Ms and the stuff and the events together. It seems, instead of being kind of all over the place, it feels like it's being very cohesive, which is great. Great way to start off 2021.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about 2020. Let's talk about.
Normally we'd talk about how our arena week went here. Let's just talk about how our arena year went.
Yeah, exactly. My arena year was great because I got to start playing arena. Yeah. So the Mac client came out, which was fantastic. Huge news for me.
Right.
I get to join the community, and now I have a podcast about it. So
it didn't take you long.
It didn't take me long. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this all day, every day,
and
drink lots of beer while I do it.
Love it. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. The Mac client was something people have been asking about for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then when they decided to leave beta, it was now no longer acceptable, really, that there wasn't an Apple version.
But it wasn't even right after
it still took a long time.
It took a long time. I was like, I've been waiting for this for a while. So I was like, and it's really, I've been waiting for it since I was a kid and got the CD-ROM for 8th edition and thought I could play Magic Online.
I want to play Magic on the internet.
And they're like, no, your computer doesn't do this. I was like, why not? Yeah, so it was just so frustrating. And for so long, it's been eating at me. So my inner child is so excited.
We always had PCs, so I had no issues playing.
Yeah, well,
Moto.
I could never play games, so that's great for you. But finally, I can play. We also got player drafts.
Yeah, another big arena update.
Yeah,
it's just when we were kind of going back and looking at all the stuff that happened in 2020, I was just like, oh yeah, we didn't draft against other players before.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, there was no player drafts.
Right.
Just crazy.
And it's just crazy for me to think that we were drafting against bots.
All the time.
Honestly, it was still fun, but player drafts way better.
It's way better.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's just so much better. But we had a bunch of things that came to Arena. There's a bunch of Magic product in general.
Oh, a ton.
We are just going to talk about Arena things because that's what we talk about. So obviously, we're not going to talk about all the other things that happened. But we had Theros Beyond Death, Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths, M21, Jumpstart, Amonkhet Remastered, Zendikar Rising, and Kaladesh Remastered. And then even before that, we had Historic Anthology 2 and 3.
Right.
So
that's a lot of new cards.
That's a lot of new cards. It started off a little like normal.
Yeah.
And then it just, in July, it was like, you know what? Just put the pedal to the metal. Let's go.
Exactly.
Zach's playing now, so let's just jam as many cards into it as possible.
Here we go.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, lots of stuff there. I mean, again, though, the craziest thing to me, and I think you're the one who pointed this out to me, is that Uro was released less than a year ago. It just feels like I've been playing against Uro for so long.
I know, but it hasn't even been a year yet.
No.
So, holy moly.
Yeah, that was a real eye-opener.
Yeah, just being like, wait, what?
Kind of feel like Uro's some sort of old school staple that's just been around forever. But
it's like, no, that was before Eldraine, right?
Yeah.
That was, no.
Eldraine was before Uro.
Yeah. Crazy to think about.
These sets, what did you think of them? Like, let's talk about maybe the standard sets first.
Exactly.
Theros, Beyond Death, Ikoria, M21, and Zendikar Rising.
I loved Theros, Beyond Death, because that's the first pre-release I ever won. In quotations, I guess. I kind of split the last.
Allegedly, I was there to witness this, but I just don't really remember. I think I blocked it out because I did 03 or something.
You went 03, but you were also just way hungover. From whatever you did the night before. I can't remember. But it was great for me. And I basically... I didn't win the one I built this deck in, but the first deck I built was 4-color nonsense, essentially. It was just like... everything but red, and I had a Dream Trawler, and I was using I had 2 copies of Enigmatic Incarnation, just trying to go this Dream Trawler, and then I had black just for removal, and it ended up doing pretty well. It was ridiculous.
That one I remember. I was there for that one.
That one was it kind of cemented that Theros was like, I really like this set. I'm happy with it. So
yeah, I really liked Theros too. The interesting thing is that I wasn't excited for it because I really didn't like original Theros block.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't.
I just didn't have very much fun with it, and I was really excited for the Greek mythology theme too, and then they didn't do it all in the ways that I kind of would have liked, maybe. I'm not sure.
It was hard because a lot of those mechanics from back then were, kind of underpowered, and cards just costed a lot.
Yeah, and I just didn't find the enchantment creature
thing
that
well that was funny because I hadn't drafted in years, and then I went and I drafted with my buddy, had no idea what the cards were, and we're the ones at the table, they're probably like 2 months into the set, and we're like, what is this? And we're all reading them like, why are there so many enchantments?
Right.
I was so confused. I was like, what is happening to Magic? I was like, this is not Magic.
Right.
The classic every set that comes out.
But to bring us back to 2020,
2020.
I wasn't excited for Theros Beyond Death because of that, and then I really liked it. Ikoria, totally fine. There are a lot of neat cards in Ikoria. I personally didn't like the draft format that much.
Yeah, I missed a lot of it because that was when everything was happening with the pandemic. So
right, that was right before.
It was right after it because Ikoria came out in like April, right?
Yeah.
So everything with the pandemic was like March.
But I mean, it was right. Wasn't it before this was on Mac?
Oh, sorry. Yes, it was also before it was on Mac. So literally, I'm in my house and can't play Magic at all, and so there's a whole set that comes out, can't play it really.
Yeah.
But I definitely was like paying attention to all the companion stuff that was happening.
It was hard to miss it. Everyone was talking about
it was all over the place.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing to note. The biggest thing to remember from Theros was Uro. The biggest thing from Ikoria was definitely companions.
Definitely companions.
The original rule was not enough. The deck building restrictions they put on these things weren't enough.
No.
But with the new rule, I think they're pretty cool, actually.
I think they're good. Yeah. I think they're fine. Which is exactly where I want them to be.
I like that in the past it was, if you're not playing a companion, you're literally just doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, you're just like leaving a card out of your deck.
Right, you're mulliganing every game.
Yeah.
Now it's like there's a real cost because it's still kind of a free card, but you got to work for it, and you have to pay this deck building cost. So it's
like you're gonna go tutor for a card that they know you have in your deck, and they see it go into your hand, and
so a lot of people still, a lot of decks still just run one kind of randomly, but most of the decks that run companions are now kind of built around that companion.
So,
which I think was the original intent.
Exactly, and they're just a lot more fun right now, I think. But M21 was actually like, that was the first set I got to jump into Arena with.
Cool.
I mean, I backdrafted a bunch of the other stuff, so that was fun. But I liked M21 so much.
I loved M21 too. Actually, M21 was my favorite set from the past year.
Yeah? I could be mine too. I thought it was one of the first times I really felt like it's a core set, so, drafting is a little bit easier, but it was just a ton of fun. I thought all the archetypes were pretty strong, and I really enjoyed like all the different cards that you could do, and I felt like I just did well and knew all this. It was just great.
I tend to really like core sets, and I like core set draft. I think it kind of gets a bad rap.
I know, but it just...
I like that it's about the fundamentals.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, we both have a bunch of 2/3s. What are you attacking with?
Yeah, like how do you navigate this? Like bluffing and, anytime like combat tricks are fun and good, I usually enjoy the set quite a bit.
Yeah, anything that actually revolves around combat and doesn't... Like, I like that when there are strategies that don't necessarily win through combat, like control strategies and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think most games of Limited should be decided from making the correct attacks and blocks and stuff.
Yeah.
And when to use combat tricks and,
And when not to,
and all that is especially true in core set, and that's what I really like about core set.
And I think that's why I like it too. Yeah. So pretty great. I think that was a slam dunk, honestly.
And there were some awesome reprints that people had been asking for a long time.
Ugin came back, which is great.
I know a lot of people were excited about Grim Tutor.
Yeah.
So M21, I think, was just kind of a slam dunk.
I really think so too.
For as far as core sets go, you can't really expect anything more than that.
Exactly.
Had some cool new cards too. Like, I thought all the Planeswalkers were not overpowered. They're really balanced and kind of cool designs too.
Yeah.
So.
Even Teferi, I mean, when you're playing on Arena, super, super fair and fun.
Yeah, I mean, nobody even really plays Teferi.
Yeah,
Everyone was
exactly.
complaining that it's another broken Teferi. I'm like, this
No.
is way worse than the other two.
But it's broken in Commander.
I see.
That's why it's. That's
Yeah,
when people are talking
yeah.
about it, I think.
No, people were talking about it for.
Well,
yeah, but
yes.
this I'm talking before they played with the card. People, there's always going to be people like that
of course.
on either side. The classic underraters and the classic overraters.
Overraters, yeah. It was
Turns out evaluating Magic cards is just hard. So
it's really hard when you don't play with them, right?
Right.
You need to play with them first and be like, oh, and that happens to everybody. So
unless the card is Omnath.
yeah, and so we had Zendikar Rising with Omnath, which was
I like that segue.
that was a pretty good segue. I like it. Yeah, so Zendikar Rising, we're back on Zendikar. We're there right now. You know all about it. I really like the set.
Yeah, me too. Great set. Another thing I wasn't super excited about because I didn't play original Zendikar, which is the one that people loved. And Battle for Zendikar, I did not like that block at all. I thought that block was horrible. One of the worst ones I remember actively playing through.
Yeah.
So I was just not that excited for Zendikar Rising. But then I knew they were trying not to do the Eldrazi thing, which is what I didn't like about.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Eldrazi in the first place, so having extra ones in that was another one of those things where I bought some Magic cards in Call to the Gatewatch or whatever, and I was like, what?
Right.
What is this new mana symbol?
I just didn't like how Eldrazi were supposed to be ridiculous big bombs. That was their thing. And then in Oath of the Gatewatch, they somehow became like efficient beaters.
Yeah.
Like Thought Not Seer and just
Exactly.
like just undercosted efficient creatures. It's like, this is stupid. But Zendikar Rising is great. I think the limited format's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I probably won't play too much more of it because I played a lot of it already, and I want to start saving resources for Kaldheim.
Exactly.
But I really enjoyed the limited format, and once they, kicked Omnath out of everything, it has a lot of fun cards to offer.
Yeah, and Standard has been so healthy since then, which is fantastic. Really happy with that. I mean, when they got rid of Uro and Omnath, that made Standard very healthy.
Yeah, I was just talking about Zendikar Rising in particular.
Exactly.
If you look at it without Omnath, great set.
Yes. Yeah, but we did have, as I was just saying, we did have a few bans that happened this year. But as we were talking about this, we were realizing, so there are a lot of bans that happened. Yeah. But most of the cards that were banned weren't from 2020, right?
Right. So 2020 is just seen as this like giant problem year, and not totally without justification because of, I think the most egregious thing was the companions, but they so quickly fixed that.
Yes.
Right. And Omnath, again, really quick. So if you look at everything else that got banned this year, Oko, Fires of Invention, Nexus of Fate, Wilderness Reclamation, Teferi Time Raveler, none of these cards were actually printed in 2020.
Yeah.
So the only 2020 cards of note were Uro and Omnath.
And those didn't get banned until September and October. So
yeah, and of course the companion nerf, if you want to count that.
Yeah, but that was just a mistake that they just needed to fix.
Yeah, and they were willing to do it, which I really liked.
Yeah,
just really quickly. I think it was like 5-6 weeks after the set released, they decided this was wrong.
Yep.
Let's change this rule, and I love that they did that.
Yeah.
In the past, they might have been too scared to do that. Because it says something on the card.
Exactly,
and
so
how it works.
And so that's hard if you have the physical card. It obviously doesn't change, and so there's a lot of people that won't know that, and so they'll be playing with it wrong.
And I know there was a lot of controversy about this at the time, but for me, I'm really glad they made the change. I think it's more fun than just banning companions
altogether,
right? Or just the good ones, Now people can still play Lurrus, and Lurrus feels good, but it doesn't feel as ridiculous as it did before. They doubled its mana cost.
Exactly. So. Yeah, so, and it really means that you just can't play it and bring something back in. You can't put it in your hand, play it, and bring something back in the same turn.
Right.
Unless it's much
you
later.
Give your opponent notice, kind of, yeah.
Essentially, so.
Yeah, so actually 2020 wasn't really the disaster. It's just that in 2019, they printed so many ridiculous cards, in particular Throne of Eldraine.
Throne of Eldraine has some busted cards. Yeah. Super fun set. Really like that set. Busted cards. Which also, I mean, which is the weird thing. So there's always the talk about, like, should you make cards that are ban worthy or on the cusp of being banned and find out how they sit when they come out? Yep. Or should you just not make cards that will be busted? So the hard part is that obviously the busted cards are super fun to play until you get beaten down with them so long that you're just like, I can't do anything. There's no other card that I can use to beat this thing. So that's when it kind of takes over. But I do kind of push a little bit more towards the break the design space open and do everything you possibly can. And then, find what goes wrong later. I know it's not a lot of people wouldn't agree with me, but I think that's kind of how I feel about it.
I definitely am on the same page as you.
Yeah.
I want them to push the boundary and make awesome cards. And if they overstep sometimes, I'm okay with that as long as they're willing to correct it. And that's what they did this year. I mean,
exactly.
They acted really quickly on a lot of these things.
Yeah.
And made what I think is the right choice.
Yes.
So the companion nerf, there were a lot being thrown around. I thought that was great. Omnath, we were doing the math right before the show, actually. Yeah. So how long was Omnath actually legal for in Standard?
So if you were playing Arena, which we were talking about, Omnath was legal for 25 days.
Right, because it released a week early on Arena. So if you check the actual release date, it'll look like Omnath was only around for like 18 days or whatever.
Yeah, but I think it actually came out September 17th, right?
Yeah. And it got banned on October 12th.
Exactly.
So, it didn't take them long, and I bet there was consideration. They had a banning on the 28th of September.
3 days after the set officially released.
Right,
there was
when
a
they
ban
banned Uro?
Yes.
I bet Omnath was in the consideration. But
and a lot of people were thinking it was going to be that, because you can play so many games so quickly on Arena, you can find those kinds of problems much faster than you would at a normal F&M pace.
Yeah.
Where you play kind of once a week or with your... depends on region or whatever. You don't have a big tournament to show, oh, crap. When you have Arena and people can play 24/7, you have just so much data.
So much data, yeah, for sure. So I think it wouldn't have been unreasonable for them to ban it on the 28th.
I don't think so either.
Which would have been 11 days that Omnath would have been legal on Arena.
I mean, pretty funny.
Yeah. So they were willing to act quickly, and that's what I would like.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these people that take issue with that are kind of rooted in the past, because it used to be you invest all this money in your Omnath, and then they ban it, and I had a Standard event coming up, I bought all these Omnaths for $200,
and now they're worthless,
and now nobody's gonna buy them back for me. Like, I literally just got screwed. But with this year, the way things panned out, that's not going to happen to anyone.
Exactly. Also, if you're playing Arena like we are, bannings obviously don't feel as bad for us because we don't have the same commitment as far as like either buying a box. Like, we're not buying boxes.
Right.
If you get the card in Arena, they'll just give you a wild card. Boom, done. Easy.
Yeah, it's almost the opposite. That I want to craft cards I think they're going to ban.
Exactly.
Because then I'll get wild cards back.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't ban it in Historic. Like, it turns out Omnath got banned everywhere, and so
well, it's just suspended in Historic, right?
Yeah, it's gonna get
banned.
Yeah.
But
basically, you can't play Omnath.
You can't play Omnath,
but that just means I netted even. I spent 4 wild cards on Omnaths. I got 4 wild cards back. I now have these Omnaths I can't use.
Yeah, and you forgot to add you bought 4 Omnaths with wild cards, and you got to play Omnath
for 25 days.
For 25 days, and then
and then I got all the wild cards back.
Yeah.
So not only is it not really a downside to them banning it for you, it's actually an upside.
Yeah.
If you want to think about it that way, because like Uro, if you crafted Uro right before September 28th, you got all your wild cards back, and now you get to play Uro in Historic.
Boom.
Yeah.
I just played Uro in Historic this last month.
Yeah.
Almost for the first time. And I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, I had these. I did that on purpose just in case I wanted to. And now I have them, so I don't even feel bad about playing, like, crafting it or anything. So,
yeah.
Nice.
So I would prefer they push the boundary and print some cards they know
exactly
they know to keep their eye on, and then just be really swift with the ban hammer if people really hate it.
Exactly. Also, when it gets banned in these formats, Commander players, it'll just drive the price down.
Yeah.
Take it easy. Well, I don't know why more people are not on this page. I feel pretty good with this page. Let's stay in this.
Great page.
Place. It's a great page. So jump on board, play more Arena, and
exactly.
And like, be excited for bans.
Yeah, be excited for. Please ban my favorite card. I want the free wild cards.
I just want the wild cards. They're so hard to get.
Please ban it just in Standard.
Yeah,
leave it in Historic.
Can you ban Duress so I can get 8 wild cards? I guess they'll only be commons. Never mind.
Yeah, you don't need those.
I don't need common wild cards. Oh.
Yeah, so the other kind of sets that came out were all mostly historic related, right? Like Kaladesh Remastered,
Yes.
Amonkhet Remastered, historic anthologies.
It's like all these sets that just went straight into historic, but like sets we got to kind of draft again, almost like new sets, basically. We've
Yeah,
talked about this before.
So those cards weren't printed in 2020, but the set was curated. So the limited format was kind of created.
Yeah, I mean, it created a new limited format.
Right.
Which is pretty fun. I mean, Jumpstart is its own thing that they haven't tried before.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fun. Did you actually play any of the Jumpstart events, or just like craft the cards?
I did not play any of it.
I played a few. I played maybe 3 or 4.
I think I watched people streaming it. It seemed kind of fun, but watching it play out was like I got my fun out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty fun because I really liked the experience of playing a deck I haven't looked at, and each draw step is, what am I going to find?
Right.
You know, I have no idea. Like, I didn't even make this. I just know the colors maybe, and then you just like flip the card. You're like, oh, that's the rare I got. That's cool. You know, or that's the rare I got.
Oh,
you know,
no.
that's cool.
I feel like that's what would happen to me.
Yeah, and that tends to happen, but it is pretty fun, and I do kind of like that, especially when you start to see the patterns when you're playing it, and it's like, oh, they have the dinosaur cards. All the rares were different.
Right.
So just because you have the dinosaur deck, half of your deck is the dinosaur deck. You don't know if
This guy's clearly dinosaur devils.
you don't really know what the top end is going to be, because sometimes it's Galta, but sometimes it's something else, or it can
there's
change.
2 or 3 different.
Yeah, so sometimes you're not sure, or you could even play you could get 2 packs that were dinosaur, and you maybe get 2 of the same bomb or 2 different bombs, or all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty interesting. There's a lot more nuance to it than I thought. I thought it was pretty cut and dry originally, but playing it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I noticed that as well watching the streams.
Yeah, so I did like that. I like the idea of doing that again, though I think I do prefer drafting over something like that. That just doesn't take as much time.
Yeah.
Drafting, I can invest a lot more time and resources into.
Yeah, overall, I think all of these were a success. The anthologies, Jumpstart, and the remastered sets.
Yeah.
Amonkhet Remastered in particular, mostly because I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I really liked it. The drafts were fun. Played a lot of those drafts.
I did too. I got crushed most of the time.
I liked them adding in the new cards, actually.
Yeah, I think that was pretty cool. It was hilarious playing like a Hornet Queen and then it getting Wrath of God. You're like, is this Amonkhet? What's happening? Yeah. So that was pretty funny.
And Kaladesh Remastered, I thought, was a success as well. I didn't have as much fun with it personally. I didn't like the limited format quite as much. And they, the obvious glaring omission.
Yeah. Dubious challenge.
Dubious challenge was...
It's not so great.
Offensive to me.
Offensive, yeah. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I think Dubious Challenge sucks. So
I literally had Dubious Challenge brews in the works.
Really?
For historic.
Oh, that's
I was
so
like,
sad.
Man, when Kaladesh Remastered drops,
It's gonna be so
I'm gonna
great.
get to play my jank again.
Nope. Got to find new jank.
Yeah. Dubious Challenge will.
Maybe one of the anthologies will bring Dubious Challenge.
I would love that. Yes.
Hilarious that they're like, you know what, we're gonna omit this for now, but there's somebody who's gonna like it when we bring it back later.
Yeah, if you play modern events in Toronto, you might have played against the guy who tries to Dubious Challenge into Emrakul every time.
Yeah.
That's me.
Oh, it's so ridiculous but hilarious.
So yeah, deeply offended.
Yeah.
And so Kaladesh Remastered, I begrudgingly admit it was a success, but not for me.
Yeah. Not jank enough for you.
And the historic anthologies were great too. I mean,
yeah.
When they add in these really old cards, you always wonder if these are just going to be busted. These old cards that used to be busted. And I don't think there's anything really from the anthologies that dominates.
I don't think so. No, none of them seem to be like, wow, that should not be here or anything.
Right. And you can play elves because of the anthologies.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a tier 2, maybe 3.
And now you have to worry about Ulamog, which is fun. So yeah, I think I really like them. I want them to do more.
I want more too. Yeah.
I want more.
More
anthologies. The regulars want more anthologies.
Yeah, we're scaring wizards into giving this to us for sure.
Because we could talk to them at all or do anything.
But it was kind of interesting, as I think I just had this idea of 2020 in my head that it was some dumpster fire of busted cards.
Yeah.
And then when I went back and looked over all of this, I'm like, there was only actually like 2 busted cards.
It wasn't really that but I mean, there's a lot of other factors that happen in 2020 that makes everything just like a paint that smears over everything.
Yeah, 2020 is the longest year of all time. But.
Holy crap, yeah. But also weirdly short too.
Yeah.
Like December has just flown by. Like it just feels like yesterday that it was the 11th. But now it's the 31st already.
Right, I know. That's crazy.
It's so crazy.
Weird how that one happened.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. That's so weird. But I think that so they did rework competitive Magic this year.
Yeah, that was the other huge change.
They were working on something else. The last time they were doing like splits and stuff was just very strange and confusing, and they didn't have the same type of like specific times all the games were being played, and you couldn't watch them live all the time, and there's kind of a recap on the weekends. And
someone from the coverage team would like watch all the matches or watch the matches from a certain... Like the MPL was split into divisions. They would watch the Sapphire division.
Yeah, there were different like moxes basically.
Yeah, so they got rid of all that.
Yeah, and but that did happen. The end of it happened this year,
right?
But we got rid of that, and we have something new. That if you want to hear about it, we talk about it
episode 3.
Episode 3. In episode 3, Jeff talks about it. So.
Might have to just explain it again in a future episode.
Yeah, probably. We'll probably explain it. I'll let you do that because, you're the expert.
It's not actually that complicated. The problem is it's so hard to find the information.
Yeah.
Like that's I had to, cite 3 or 4 different Wizards pages to figure out what
make
was
your own document. But yeah, it's been really fun. We've just finished the last split, earlier in the month.
Yeah.
But the first split, I think, went pretty well. I like the structure of how they do it. I'm excited for the next 2. So
yeah,
it's great. I'm really excited for what competitive Magic is going to be.
Yeah, this was a huge step forward, I think. And the other thing is that because of the way 2020, what all the crap that's happened, they had to move competitive play to all like online.
Oh, exactly.
So, I mean, the MPL was always all arena because that's what they were trying to. Promote. Yeah. But now they have, for example, the Arena Open actually debuted in 2020.
Yeah.
That was in May, the first one. And this is just, if you haven't heard us talk about it, it's just an event that you play on the client, on Arena, on a weekend, and you can win up to $2,000 and some qualifications.
Yeah. So you win $2,000, and then you get qualified to be like in you qualify to be in a tournament to qualify to be in a championship.
Right. Yeah.
But you could be in a championship and play against people. Also, the cool thing about the Arena Opens is that you're playing against, real people. We've talked about this in the past in the last episode we did. But you get to play against real champions because they're all playing with you. So really fun.
And then stuff like the Star City Games online tour and stuff. Like I've played more competitive Magic actually than in almost any previous year, I think, because I could just do it right from home whenever I'm not busy this Saturday.
Yeah.
Why don't I jump into one of these events?
So you definitely get more Magic for sure. There's less gathering, which is sad. But if you want to play Magic on a high level, you can do that from your house in your pajamas with beer in your coffee mug.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think just that has been one really awesome change.
I think it's really great. We'll see how it keeps going into the new year. How was your non-Magic year? Just like personally, how are things?
Fine.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, COVID happened, and that sucked.
It did suck.
But I also I finished my PhD this year. So.
Yeah. So you're a doctor.
That's right.
That's great. It's been a year that just told me to slow down. I was at the beginning of the year. I was definitely poised to be like at a important position in the job I was working. And working a lot and having lots of responsibilities, and it immediately stopped. And I had to just chill and just think about what I want to do, which is, you never get time to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Or it feels like such a big sacrifice that you have to make in order to get that time.
But now I had it, and we got to make this podcast.
Yeah,
so
this is
great.
something that probably might not have happened if
It 100% would not have happened.
because we wouldn't have been out disc golfing in the middle of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah, basically, yeah, on like a Thursday or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I got to disc golf. I had my first disc golf tournament. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So yeah, I think, you know, overall it's been a rough year, but there are a lot of good things that came out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So always good to see that.
Yeah, we had a bunch of trips planned that all got canceled. That
Yes,
sucked.
I also had a bunch of stuff that I had planned that got canceled as well, which is a bummer. And non-refundable trips are not fun.
And I just had a lot of friends who are, you know, you included, who are getting married. We're planning either this year or sometime soon, and
Yeah.
I really feel for that, man.
Yes, I was planning on getting married in 2021, and we kind of have pushing it a bit just because now all the people that were going to get married in 2020 are pushing it to next year, and
Right.
so it's kind of just pushing things back a little bit. But I think it's okay. I think it's for the best. It's nice. It's good to have like wake up calls in your life and see them as they're coming at you and be able to process them instead of just trying to be like, "Brr, brr, brr, I'm frustrated with all this stuff." There's a lot of horrible things that happened, obviously, in 2020, and condolences to anyone who lost any family members. There's so many of you. But to survive, you do have to see some of the good stuff that happens. So, but you know, one thing that isn't good right now is that I don't have any more beer in my mug.
Well, let's see if we can remedy that.
I think it's a beer break.
Cool.
All right. So what beer do you got right now then?
Oh, I can't remember. It has blueberry, chocolate, vanilla,
One more?
coffee.
There you go.
Yes.
That's it. And I got raspberry, blackberry, Jelly King.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good color.
Now that I see yours up close, it is like darker.
It is
like
darker.
Yours looks like blueberries.
Yeah, and this looks like purple. So yeah,
Looks like purple, yeah.
it tastes like purple.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's good. You get all of those flavors.
Yeah.
I find I get the chocolate at the end.
I definitely get the chocolate. I can't really get the coffee, but I do get the blueberries and a little bit of vanilla. But the sour is nice, actually. So
Yeah.
it really looked like it was something that should say stout at the end, but it
I
definitely
know.
said sour. And I was like, okay, weird. All right, I'll try it. But Jeff, we talked about the past, but you know what? I don't want to live in the past anymore. I want to live in the future.
That's what
or
we're doing
the
right now
present
anyway.
right now, December
confusing,
31st. I don't want to live in the past.
The whole time travel thing doesn't
really
agree
messing with me.
with beer drinking.
Yeah. Anyway, I do want to live in the future, which is now.
Yeah. Like, am I drunk in the past, the present, or the future?
I have no idea. There's too many phases or whatever. Am I in my first?
Too many
or second
phases for a
name?
Magic player.
Yeah.
That's,
Holy moly. But anyway, next year, what do we want next year? Well, what's going to happen next year?
All right.
First of all, we know some things for sure.
Right.
All right.
Let's just talk about the sets. They've told us what sets they're going to release.
There are 4/5 kind of.
Yeah. They've told us mostly the names. The
Yeah.
last two,
That's about
not
it.
really.
Those are the names. Those might be the names.
In the Zendikar Rising preview, when they talked about this, I think they said there's a chance this won't be what they're actually called.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I guess I missed that. I don't always watch those events with anyway.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah,
They're a bit cheesy.
They're kind of like long too. Anyway, but so they're kind of broken up in quarters, and that's how they're kind of. That's always how they work, but it makes it easier when we actually talk about it that way. So the first quarter, what's the set going to be?
Kaldheim.
Whoa! Surprise!
Yeah.
I didn't-
Norse mythology themed set.
It's gonna be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
I think that's the one I'm most excited for. So if that one isn't great, I'm gonna be pretty sad for the rest of the No. It's gonna be fantastic, and the rest of them will have to try to catch up to it. But
Yeah. Agreed.
yeah, but so it's like Vikings. There's a lot of stuff that makes it feel like there's going to be some heavy metal things that go into
Yeah,
it.
that's been the teasers for that have really gotten me interested.
Yeah,
The
like
sleeve for the Arena Open's
was
really cool.
Really cool. I think it might just be like the alt art stuff is more heavy metal things.
Yeah.
But like I already think like heavy metal records always looked so cool when I was a kid. Like the album arts,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
are just
Megadeth stuff.
Oh, so sweet. And like Meatloaf records, that have like bikes with flames and like going through like you're a bat out of hell.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it'd be pretty. I'm just pretty excited for it.
They've been knocking a lot of the alt arts out of the park.
Really have. So I think this is going to be another one that is going to be fantastic.
Like even Ikoria, the comic book E1, wasn't my preferred style.
Not my jam, but it's definitely somebody's jam.
And you have to acknowledge that it's cool. Like
It's definitely cool and cool that they did it, and I want them to do more of that stuff. So all for it. Keep them coming. As long as I have a choice, I like that. More choices,
Exactly.
What's wrong with that?
So Kaldheim, super excited. The second quarter. Strixhaven School of Mages.
Yes.
This is like, I don't know, what is this, Harry Potter set?
Yeah, Harry Potter set. Except for it's university. I did see that it said like a wizard university, not like a wizard
What is
junior
Hogwarts,
high.
like all of them.
It's like a junior high kind of.
It's like pre-K through high school.
No, they're 11. 11's like,
Okay, yeah.
you're like 5th grade.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's like junior high, high school stapled together.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I guess everyone's homeschooled in Hogwarts until then. Wow, what a freaking
Or they
nightmare.
go to like Muggle schools, right?
They don't go to Muggle schools, no. You just like stay at home and like learn stuff.
I think some of them do.
I don't think they go. Well, some of them who have Muggle parents.
Before they go to Hogwarts. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I know, but most of them don't have Muggle parents.
Yeah.
I just thinking about the Weasleys specifically. At first, I was like, "Wow, that's so much work for like, holy crap, what's her name? I don't remember." Anyway, Ron's mom, Molly Weasley. There's so much work for Molly Weasley to deal with all these kids, and then I was like, "Wait, she has magic." She's like, "Stir the pot." Okay, what are you talking about?
Well, at the risk of getting way too off topic, it always bugged me that wizards don't have to learn any other subjects. Like they don't study English.
No,
they all have to speak to each other in English all the time. But
they already know
because
how to,
they have
that's
magic.
True.
They don't have to study it.
You don't need to like spell or write.
You don't need
really.
math.
Yeah, you definitely don't need math. If you have magic, why do you need math?
Excuse me, math is magic. It's the only magic we actually learn in real life.
That's Muggle magic. Real magic is cool.
We'll see in Strixhaven.
Yeah, I guess maybe in Strixhaven, maybe it's like a Teleria kind of thing. Like maybe we're gonna get like baby Teferi, not like real. Like it won't actually be Teferi, but it'll be like maybe there's another time wizard.
Oh, that's the thing about Kaldheim is we did get like pictures.
Yeah, we do have some pictures. So Kaldheim, we know that Kaya's gonna be in it.
And someone with a really sharp eye observed that it looks like Tybalt.
On one of the booster packs.
Yeah, and once I saw that, I was like, it does look like Tybalt.
Okay, so Tybalt, devil guy, right? Awesome. Okay, definitely works in with the metal theme that we're already talking about. Kaya, ghost assassin. Not exactly sure why she's there. Maybe like there could be some of the Norse gods or
There's
something.
a lot of ghost stuff in Norse mythology.
Yeah, exactly. So some ghost thing. She's got to come. She just took the oath in War of the Spark or whatever. So she's got something to do with something. I don't know. Right. She'll be there killing ghosts or fighting Tybalt. Maybe is she going to fight Tybalt?
I feel like she was hunting Liliana or something, and then with the oath decided to work together with her. I don't know. We're not a Vorthos.
She was. I did read the book. It was god awful, but she's going to hunt somebody down. I can't remember. Everybody was supposed to go find a person that had left and blah blah blah. I don't know. Yeah. I forget. It was very whatever. Who cares?
But yeah, for Strixhaven, I'm like lukewarm on that. It's the sort of Harry Potter.
That's the one I'm
thing.
Most worried about.
Yeah. I'm ready to be proven wrong, and maybe it'll just be really cool.
Yeah. So this is the thing that I really like to do is have very low expectations about lots of things in life, and then everything just gets better.
Yeah, that's why Zendikar Rising and Theros Beyond Death were so enjoyable.
Exactly.
For me, because I was so like lukewarm on
That's how I felt about Eldraine, because I was like, all right, I don't know about this fairy tale thing. I don't know. And then it ended up being awesome, and I love Gingerbrute. So, like, which is one of the cards that I was like,
I love that design.
Why do you think it's so funny? Yeah. So it ended up being great. I'm happy they did it. I'm excited to see what we're going to get with the School of Mages. As long as we'll see what the art looks like maybe. I don't know if there's going to be like an actual Harry Potter character that's like that's supposed to be them.
Well, one thing that didn't really resonate with me, though, was speaking of Eldraine, the different like factions of knights, one for each color. Yeah. That's something that I like read in a Mark Rosewater article was something they were trying to push. I didn't really feel it in the set.
I felt it because of I got it. Well, I got it because most of them have like
because there was a couple of cycles, but it was like
Well, they also most of them care about the other colors. It's either a knight that cares about knights or a knight that cares about being one color.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was not something that I thought was the coolest part of Eldraine. And this kind of feels like they're doing the whole set about something like that. I bet there's going to be the 5 different factions.
Or the houses.
Houses, yeah.
That's true, yeah. So we could see Strixhaven like houses. And keep with monocolored stuff. Maybe?
Yeah, so...
Are they moving away from that since we've had it for a while, and maybe they're just going to push harder into it.
Eldraine was, 2019, and this will be 2021.
So that's
it's
true.
It's not too early to come back to monocolored.
And they should, because we need some like monocolored decks to really...
Especially when they just released 10 dual, like really
that's
good
true.
dual lands. They do like to do stuff like that.
And yeah, and those dual lands do like care about being one color essentially. So you could play them in a one color deck that splashes one other like barely.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know.
So we're off to like baseless speculation now.
We have absolutely no idea. But I would like to point out, okay, so we do know that there will be modal double-faced cards in the sets coming up.
Right. The first 2 we just talked about, Call Time and Strixhaven.
So Call Time, I already said, I'm okay, calling a shot. All right.
Okay.
We didn't write this
one down. It's a little too
down.
early for that.
It doesn't matter. Here it goes. I think I already called this before, but I am saying that I think the modal double-faced cards will be like artifact equipments. I think there's going to be an artifact or equipment thing. I think Vikings have axes. I think it'd be freaking sweet if they were on one...
Like one half is an equipment and the other half
is a creature.
Is a creature. Oh, creature. Okay. I thought you were saying one half's an artifact and the other's an equipment.
No. Oh, sorry. Yes, so one side would be a creature. The other side would be an equipment.
Okay, yeah.
I think...
So you think that for Call Time?
That's what I'm putting it down.
Okay. So one thing I thought would be interesting.
Okay.
What if... Okay, it's a mythology set. All the mythology sets always have gods.
Yes.
And the Norse gods like to turn into animals. Oh. What if it's like a creature modal that's like Raven/Odin kind of thing?
Ooh. That sounds cool.
That'd be interesting, right?
Yeah. Ooh. So like a cheaper creature or expensive creature? Ooh, that sounds pretty intense though.
With some sort of weird god rule about when it can actually be a creature.
Yeah, that wouldn't be devotion but something else, but it'd be into, or like
what if you can only cast that side if you meet conditions?
Yeah, maybe that would be interesting. Either like that, or no, I have no idea. If you like kill it, it turns into the Raven. I don't know. Could be interesting.
Yeah, could be.
Okay, I like that. I definitely think they're going to be gods. I want there to be snow stuff.
Yeah.
But that I don't have high hopes, but I think there could be. Like snow basics is what I'm talking about.
I'm just like Luke. I don't really care about snow that much because I just never really played with it.
I played a little bit and I thought it was interesting, but there's not enough of it for it to matter, and so you need more of it so all the cards get better.
The most I had, but like people have a real affinity for snow. They love it. So I'd be surprised if they didn't use this opportunity to bring back Snowlands.
You're also Canadian, so how do you not also have an affinity for snow?
It's just there all the time.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel that different. I would be surprised. Like, this seems like the time to bring something people love to Arena.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like an opportunity to
do that. Well.
So
also, like, whatever. Who cares? Let's just do it.
For Strixhaven, I feel like the most reasonable guess is that this is like a creature and then spell instant or sorcery that's like the professor and his favorite spell or something, like those are the
makes their signature spell.
Yeah, their signature.
Sure. Like a legendary creature that's a spell. So then you could play it in Commander. Interesting. Or Brawl. You could play it in Brawl.
You play it in Brawl, yeah.
Could you play either side? Interesting. That could be kind of cool. Yeah, I like that.
That just feels like you have a school of wizards, got to be spell based somehow.
Yeah, I'm gonna say actually. It's going to be a creature, flip it over as an equipment that's a wand. And then you can use the wand with the wizards. Boom. Called it?
That would get a little confusing, though, because you don't necessarily get to choose which side to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the wand chooses, right?
Oh, yeah, the wand chooses you. Yeah. So you play it, you roll a dice, and then the wand goes on to whichever wizard.
The wand attaches whichever creature it likes.
And it might be your opponent.
Yeah.
And then it goes onto their creature. That's pretty,
that'd be a great design.
Just like, maybe there's probably only one of them, but that'd be a pretty funny design.
Yeah.
It just attaches to a random wizard.
Yeah, and obviously the flavor text is just the wand chooses the wizard.
Yeah. And it's really just the picture of Harry with the wand in the wand shop with the light glowing in his hair up, from the first movie. That's pretty funny.
To be clear, this isn't actually based on Harry Potter.
We have no idea.
It's only inspired by Harry Potter.
Oh yeah,
almost assuredly.
the rest of everything we're talking about, we have no idea. We're
Yeah.
just like calling shots, having fun, drinking beer.
But speaking of them taking some other lore, bringing it right into
well,
Magic.
we've already been talking about crossovers a lot. That keeps happening, right? So this is probably the next one. There's gonna be a lot of like Easter eggy things from Harry Potter. So maybe there's gonna be mandrakes. That'd be kind of cool.
But in the third quarter, we have a legit crossover.
All right, let's keep moving this train.
Yeah.
All right, so third quarter crossover Dungeons and Dragons: The Adventures in the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah. As far as crossovers go, this makes the most sense. It's owned by the same company, and it's really closely related. Like Magic, when it first came out, people were talking about it as like it's a Dungeons and Dragons card game.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
And that's what it was kind of initially made to be, was to play this game while you're waiting for your friends to come over for Dungeons and Dragons. So
it makes sense. People tend to get really up in arms about these types of things, either love it or hate it when it's across. I think it's fine.
I think it's fine
I don't play Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm not super pumped about it.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be references to stuff that I don't get, so that part will be a little lost on me.
You know what is funny though is that so I don't play Dungeons and Dragons either, really. But I do randomly follow accounts that will post things about this on Instagram. So I'll randomly see things, and I know how to play, and I get how it works.
Yeah, I know a little bit about it too, because I have a friend. Like I have a friend we both have a friend who's a DM.
Exactly.
So he likes to talk about that stuff.
So we know a little bit about it, but they already do this all the time, right? Like there's cards constantly. Like it's basically the same. Like it just says Dungeons and Dragons, but like it could say Forgotten Realms, and I know that's a big name. There's a lot of video games that have that, or different D&D. It's like a world in D&D.
Yeah, like what if it was just a D&D inspired set instead of actually using the name? Would people not be upset about that? Right.
Well, you could show them a card and not say what it is, and they'll be like, that's a Magic card. Right. You know, probably because it's going to look just like every other Magic set, essentially. So why?
I think it's going to be cool, probably.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
My biggest gripe with it is that it's replacing the core set. Like it's coming when the core set.
Yeah, so we were just talking about how much we like core sets, and they're not going to have one this year,
right?
Which they've done in the past, and they'll probably leave core sets for a little bit, come back to it again later.
Yeah, who knows? I like core sets because they're just a great place for reprints, because they don't all have to be thematically connected.
Yeah, well, because at one point they were all reprints, right? The point was that they were all reprints. But they are a really good way for new players to play the game. When we talk about like WotC wanting new players all the time, core sets are really the best place to start, because everything is just teaching what the colors do, which is the most exciting part about the game, in my opinion. And teaching new players, this is what you get to identify with these different things.
Yeah, what the colors do is, blue can draw cards, black can kill creatures, green does everything,
white,
red does like damage, and white does nothing.
Yeah, and white does nothing. Yeah. So we'll see. We obviously know that Dungeons and Dragons. What's a mechanic that just came out that really is like Dungeons and Dragon themed?
Landfall.
Nope.
No.
Close.
Oh, party.
There you go. Yes, party. I almost lost you there. Yes, so obviously party. Your D&D group of players is called a party.
Based on a D&D party.
It's a party. You want to be diverse, so everyone has abilities that can work together.
And we were talking, and we think like Kaldheim and Strixhaven tie in with party as well. Like Kaldheim's likely to have warriors, being a kind of Norse mythology.
Yeah, or
set.
they're just all going to be barbarians.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
These are all barbarians.
There's no warriors.
Barbarian soldiers.
Oh, that's terrible. But then obviously then we have a bunch of wizards.
Strixhaven are mages.
Yeah, they're just mages. They're not wizards. Oh god, that would just be such a punt.
Yeah.
But then so we're assuming there's going to be whatever other pieces we need in Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
Do you think? I think people are probably going to just call it Forgotten Realms, or just like Adventures of Forgotten Realms. I don't know what the shorthand's going to be, but I'm assuming something like that. It won't be D&D, obviously.
No, I'll probably just call it Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
Or D&D AFR.
Dadaffer?
Dadaffer, yeah.
I'm okay with that. Dadaffer? I like it. Let's go with it. So Dadaffer is going to be probably a lot of like clerics and wizards and rogues and warriors.
Yeah, so probably by the end of like quarter 3, Party might actually be a constructed playable mechanic.
I'm excited.
It's not now. I've tried several times. Trust me.
It will get better when we have more pieces. And that's the set that we're really excited for, the pieces to come.
And I like stuff like that because, like, Adventures, for example, is one of my favorite mechanics because I like the flavor of it, and then I like how the cards tend to play. The problem with it, though, is the Adventures deck doesn't grow. You build an Adventures deck in, Eldraine, and then for the rest of time those cards are in Standard, all the same cards are getting played because Adventures and Eldraine only mechanic.
Yeah, you're not going to get... They're not going to do that in a core set.
And thus, to make it constructed playable, they had to really push it.
Yeah.
Right? Or just risk it, or just have it not be constructed playable, just kind of a fun thing people do. Those are kind of the two options.
Yeah, which is kind of what happened with Party, right?
Right. Party, because they know it's going to get stronger as new sets release, because it's not parasitic like Adventures where it refers to
Yeah.
Party the deck is going to start out really weak and get better as more cards are released. And that's why I think that's a great constructed level mechanic.
Well, do you think we could just bring back Adventures? Because it's a really good mechanic, I think. I don't know what the design space is exactly like. So, random tangent at the moment, but when we're talking about mechanics, there is a thing that Mark Rosewater talks about, which is the storm scale. So if you haven't heard about the storm scale before, it's something that he uses and a lot of WotC and the design team uses as a scale on whether they will bring mechanics back or not.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you can just look up Mark Rosewater's storm scale, and he's the lead designer, by the way.
And it's so called because they will never bring Storm back.
Yes. So basically, it's like a 1 to 10, 1 being Trample, and 10 being Storm. So Storm is a mechanic where your spell gets copied for each other spell that was cast that turn. It originated in Scourge. It originated in Scourge. And basically, there's these decks that just break it, and it can be really busted. And it's just like you can't really add more cards to it just because either the design space isn't big enough to make more cards, or it's just too powerful.
It's also like I don't want to sit there and count how many spells we're playing.
Exactly. And it becomes like you have to. It's just kind of like unfun possibly, and it's never really going to happen again. So if a card is or if a mechanic is so intense that it's a 10 on the storm scale, they're just never going to bring it back.
I would say Adventures probably pretty low.
I think I'm going to say Adventures is pretty low on the scale as well. Usually they care about popularity and if there's a design space, if they can do more with all.
I think it has a pretty big design space because in theory you could just staple any spell and any creature together. And it's nice when they have a thematic link and actually make sense and are like playing well together.
Like Giant Killer and that kind of stuff.
But that's pretty easy to do, I think, to make a creature and a spell that
I think they
play
can do
well
it.
together. Yeah. Like that's something they do anyways in every set.
Exactly. So basically, it would probably be easier. I don't know if Party specifically will come back.
No, I would maybe, but
I would expect no.
Yeah. Maybe in the D&D set.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if that's where it's going to happen.
So
if it's going to happen, that's where.
In the D&D set, will we get Party again, or is it going to be different mechanics but lots of really strong wizards and
my guess would be that we won't actually get Party itself.
I think the word Party won't, but there might be wizards that care that you have rogues or something.
Yeah,
like a wizard that cares
like
you have
sub party.
Maybe there's like almost like a partner thing, right? But it's like your wizard or your warrior or something, it wants to see other. It's like in love with a wizard or something. So the warrior, it gets stronger when wizards are by or whatever.
Yeah, like obvious is just +1/+1 if you control a wizard.
Exactly, that
or
kind of
like
stuff.
the Love Struck Beast thing, can't attack or block unless.
Yeah, so the warrior needs like a rogue or something, or a cleric to like be its spiritual guide or something.
I'll think of something.
Yeah, but like basically that's what we might be able to see. There'll be a play on that, but we're definitely getting more party cards as far as like creatures that fit in a party, not necessarily the word party, probably.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been talking about this for a while. Quarter 4. The last quarter we know the least about, but it's a plane that we've been to several times.
Yeah, so we're going back to Innistrad, and then they're doing 2 mini sets. Are they're both full-size sets?
I think they're 2. They just said that they're 2 sets. I don't know if they're 2 halves of one whole.
They're kind of doing a block, basically, where they do 2 sets, one of which focuses on werewolves and the other focuses on vampires.
But it's a block within its own cycle. Like we're getting 2 sets, like one set, and then a month later another set.
They'll get released fast. Yeah, and we don't know. I believe we don't know yet if these are supposed to be drafted independently or if there's some format that both are involved in.
Yeah, or like you draft one and then you add the other one to the draft, or like we used to do. I don't know.
Yeah, like is it a 2 vampires, 1 werewolves draft,
or I have no idea.
I imagine probably just draft separately, but
I really don't know.
yeah.
Who knows?
Anyways, Innistrad has been historically a really popular plane.
Yeah, a lot of people, it's their favorite plane.
Yeah, and I didn't play during original Innistrad. That was like right before I started playing again, or just a year before or something. Shadows over Innistrad, I liked it. The draft format was fine. A lot of cool cards were released. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cool.
I thought it was interesting. I didn't play in the original one either. I played literally right before it.
I think I got a bit annoyed that they brought, because I hate Eldrazi, as we were mentioning earlier, and they brought Eldrazi into Innistrad.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is it always got to be Eldrazi Wizards? Enough with the Eldrazi.
Come on. Yeah, so some of that stuff I wasn't into because I also don't like Eldrazi very much. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't play a lot of Shadows, so we'll see. But I am excited. I do want there to be more werewolves. I think the idea of the transform thing was pretty interesting. I thought it wasn't well executed the first time. It just seemed like a boring play pattern, so hopefully this one will be... They changed it in Shadows. And
it's like, don't play spells.
Yeah, don't play spells.
If you don't play spells, we'll reward you. And then if you play too many spells after that, we'll punish you.
We'll punish you, yeah. Instead of the opposite you would think, where you play more spells, it flips. If you play no spells, it flips back or whatever. Anyway, getting into that tangent. But hopefully we'll just get more werewolves and like they'll be more viable. They just haven't been just strong enough.
I'm excited to see what they bring. I mean, I do like the gothic horror theme.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I love the flavor of Innistrad when there are no Eldrazi infiltrating it.
Yeah.
So like Shadows over Innistrad was fine because there was just a hint of Emrakul. Didn't love Eldritch Moon because then Emrakul was there.
And it was just...
And everything is transforming into Eldrazi.
Yeah, and there's all the emerge...
yeah, there was Eldrazi in the set, right?
Yeah.
No, Shadows was great.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, my favorite card from Shadows was Crawling Sensation. This is a card that whenever a land goes into your graveyard for the first time in a turn, you get a 1/1 insect token. It was an enchantment.
Oh, okay.
I loved playing, and it milled you when it came into play for 3.
Boom, there you go.
Yeah. So I played this with like Gitrog Monster and Ramonep Excavator.
Of course you're playing Gitrog Monster.
To like bring lands back from my graveyard. I loved that deck.
That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, wow, we really just beasted that. We were not expecting to talk that much about those sets, but that was actually pretty fun. Good thought experiment to kind of like go through.
We're talking about a whole year of Magic here. I think we can go a little long.
I think that there's a lot more to talk about than
we might need another beer break.
I think we might actually need one, but not yet. I'm not there yet. I still have a good amount left. I did want to say, like, how many remastered sets do you think we're going to get next year? Like, we're definitely getting one. I'm assuming we're getting.
Do you count Pioneer Masters?
Yes.
So if that counts, then I'm gonna say 1. Well, no, probably 2. Probably 2.
Okay, so what we didn't actually talk about is that in concept, we do know there's going to be Hithoric. We do
a new format called Hithoric.
We do know there's going to be a Historic Anthology 4, and then there's going to be a Pioneer Masters, and this is in concept, so they're still working on it. There will be they're working on deck sharing, and then they're also going to have a new Play Blade rework. So the Play Blade is the thing that comes out, and you get to choose what format you're playing. If it's like Play or Standard, and then Standard Traditional or whatever, and then Standard Traditional Play and Historic Traditional and all that stuff.
That thing is horrible.
Yes,
it's something I've gotten used to. But...
Yeah, it's really bad. The amount of times I've just played Standard Traditional Play and thought I was on the ladder and I wasn't has happened to me a lot because it's so confusing. So
or you just don't see a bunch of modes because you're in like arena play modes instead of all play modes.
So basically they are reworking it. It's in the works. That thing is really strange, but they're working on fixing it or changing it for better or for worse.
Yeah, I was going to say, now I'm going to have to learn some weird new Play Blade.
I'm going to click the wrong Play Blade.
It just makes me think of Beyblades.
I know. I definitely thought it was Beyblade. I had to Google it to see what that was. But yeah, so they are working on that. So we don't know anything about actual remastered sets. And what I'm really talking about is like, we have done Amonkhet and Kaladesh. So are we going to go to Shadows? over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon, are we going to have a remastered set of that?
The fact that Q4 is going to Innistrad makes me think it might be in their best interest to do a Shadows remastered around that time.
Either around that time or maybe...
I'm thinking right before, maybe, to generate some hype for it.
Now, I would feel almost not right before, but maybe in June or something.
Yeah.
Right. So in June they could do the Shadows remastered, and then July would basically be Forgotten Realms, and then we go into maybe a different remastered set, and then go into it. But basically have the kind of Innistrad in mind.
That would make sense to me. Remind us what Innistrad's all about. Get us excited for Innistrad again.
Yeah, and I think that would be a good idea. I don't know if there's going to be as many as there were this time, because weren't most of those cards, Kaladesh and Amonkhet, those were in like early beta, right? So they had a lot of that stuff. I don't know if it was Kaladesh, but Amonkhet.
Kaladesh was,
it was?
when it literally first released as a beta. You were playing Kaladesh.
Yeah, so I think a lot of those cards were actually on the client while they were trying to work on it, and a lot of the first videos that they were showing about Arena had Glorybringer in it. So those were definitely already on. Like they weren't as. It wasn't just. You're not making a whole new set that the client doesn't know. It already knows a lot of this stuff. So that's why they could pump them out so quickly. I don't know if they're going to put as much focus on them this year, but I do think we're going to get one. I don't know if it's going to be Shadows or they're just going to call that the Pioneer Masters thing, or we'll just have more historic anthologies and we'll get Dubious Challenge. I don't know.
They better.
Yeah.
As long as I get me some Dubious Challenge.
So we'll see.
I think Pioneer Masters is going to be separate. It won't be the Shadows thing.
It won't be a Shadows thing. So do you think we're going to have a Shadows or not? I like the idea.
I think so.
We've talked about them going in like backlogging and trying to get down to Pioneer card, I don't know, collection. It won't exactly be that because we're missing some cards, but getting close to it.
My only concern with Shadows is I don't know if I want an Emrakul
in Historic.
I did kind of like the Delirium decks.
Delirium was fun.
And I don't think it would be busted in Historic.
Yeah.
But
Tireless Tracker.
Yeah, Tireless Tracker is very good.
So,
but again, like, is it even that good compared to what they have now? Like, it's
maybe
not better. It's not better than Uro as a green 3-drop that draws cards.
Probably not. So, we'll see. I mean, it could be fun. I'm thinking that they might have something like that, but I would like it.
So we know Pioneer Masters for sure, right? That was actually supposed to release this year and got pushed back.
It got pushed back. So that's coming soon-ish probably.
And the idea is their goal, like we've been kind of throwing it around, but I don't think people might not know what Pioneer is.
Oh, yeah, that's good to talk about.
So Pioneer is a format that came out almost around the same time as Historic, a little bit before.
Yeah, so Historic was announced in 2019, but really started in like November?
Yeah, it's almost a 2020 creation.
Yeah, it's almost just a whole 2020 creation.
So that was our first year of Historic, I guess.
Yeah, that was one thing we didn't talk about in the last year. Historic is a thing.
Yeah. But basically what they did is they took... Modern was getting too inaccessible, kind of like Legacy. So they made a new Eternal format that starts more recently.
Yeah.
Now this isn't Pioneer's not an Arena format, so forgive us if we don't get everything totally right about it.
Yeah, because it's not exactly.
We nail all the other information.
I know about Pioneer. I haven't played Pioneer, but I know relatively. The card pool starts at Return to Ravnica.
Yeah. But they immediately banned all the fetch lands that happen in Khans of Tarkir. So it's kind of like Historic in that it's a Eternal format, meaning sets don't rotate out of it. It just goes a bit older than Historic currently does.
Exactly.
But what they've said is that they're trying to backlog Arena, bring back old sets with these remastered sets until you can play Pioneer on Arena.
Yeah.
And so the idea of Pioneer Masters is to bring all the top hits,
the good constructed staples without a lot of the draft chaff.
Right. Now it is meant to be draftable as well.
Yeah, well, Pioneer Masters itself will be draftable, but we're not bringing like some random common from Theros that no one's going to play.
Or, some rare that only one person played.
Yeah, that's
they've made it clear they don't want to do that.
Yeah, obviously that card is
so that when we say dumb. Pioneer Masters, they're going to release kind of all the most relevant in their eyes constructed staples and then flesh it out into a draft format.
Exactly.
And release that. How do you feel about that, though?
I don't know, man. It really feels like, because that feels, well, I'm in this weird place where like I really like Historic, but if Pioneer kind of becomes what Historic is Historic just gone and it's just Pioneer now?
Right. If they're trying to bring Pioneer to Arena, it doesn't really make sense to have Historic and Pioneer.
To be two separate things.
They'll be almost the same, except Historic will have like Jumpstart and the anthologies.
Yeah. So that feels weird to me. I definitely think that just having all the cards on Arena just makes it easier to build a deck if you're playing on that format.
I don't think they should have the goal of bringing Pioneer to Arena. Just let Historic be its own thing.
Just let Historic be Historic, and then Pioneer is whatever. But like, I don't know.
And this coming from someone, I played a lot of Pioneer before Historic was really a thing, and when Arena wasn't quite as good.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I really enjoyed the format. So it's not like Pioneer's dumb, I don't want it on Arena. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't get it. Why would you ever have both?
It does. They seem a little too close together. It's like because Frontier was a format for a while, right? And that was like basically started with cons and just went forward. It's very small.
Yeah, it was never officially sanctioned, though.
Oh, really? It was
Wizards
just
never acknowledged it as a format.
I knew somebody who played it, so that's why I like know more about
it was
but
like something. I think some Japanese store started running events like that, and it kind of caught on as being more fun or a more accessible format than Modern. Problem with it was that it was dominated by Kaladesh and Khans of Tarkir.
And then you're just like, okay. I mean, I definitely understand the not accessible to Modern because I could not play Modern because it was inaccessible. So I get that.
That my dubious challenge deck, that wasn't very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't have any of the lands. The lands was the gatekeeper, right?
You need the fetch lands.
Yeah, I didn't have any fetches or shocks at the time, to be fair. So, and most of those were like $10 when I started playing. So. Or started
fetch lands?
playing
The shocks.
Yeah.
The shocks fetch lands for $10. Where'd you find that? I'm gonna go there now.
Yeah. No, so I absolutely understand getting that. And I understand that they, want to get rid of the fetches because of a lot of different problems. But I want Historic to be its own thing. I don't think Pioneer needs to get into it. Also, if Historic is just going to be like a pro played format, it seems like Pioneer won't have the strength to topple it over.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they had originally Pioneer was supposed to be the competitive format.
Exactly.
Like they made it for the Pro Tours.
And this last year has kind of
Historic
pushed it out.
was supposed to be fun.
Historic was just supposed to be like, hey, play with some cards that you have on Arena because they're there.
Yeah. Now that everything's on Arena, Historic has kind of become the competitive.
So did that kind of shift the current of what we're going to do, or are they going to stick with the plan, dig their heels in, and do you think Pioneer is going to jump on Arena and kind of kill Historic? Is that possible?
I don't think so. I just don't really. I think their goals are going to change. They're just not going to bring Pioneer all the way. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what's in this Pioneer Masters set.
Yeah.
Pioneer has a lot of cards in it.
Yeah. So there could be some cool stuff.
Yeah. This is definitely going to shake up Historic.
Are we going to get like all the Theros gods, the other ones? That's a lot.
People even play those in Pioneer.
I mean, I don't know.
Don't seem that good.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know.
You're like, I don't know anything about Pioneer.
All I'm thinking is I want some more Theros gods.
Yeah. All I know is Pioneer used to be just a total combo format, and then they took the Banhammer to every combo deck. And now it's like Uro mid-range stuff, and so not that different than Historic, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess it's just an Uro mid-range format.
I mean, there you go. Magic now, Uro. But yeah, so we'll see. I do think that Historic will survive through pushing.
I think they're just gonna kind of change this plan of Pioneer coming to Arena.
It will just be different.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we'll just get all the cards.
Yeah.
They're gonna. Let's go back to Odyssey.
Yeah. I would love that, man.
That would be dope.
In the old frame, please. Like when Historic Anthologies came out with the old cards, I was like, oh no, they updated the frame.
No. I know, I was pretty bummed about that too.
Now that we have lands in the old frame, I believe it's possible.
It is possible. Yeah, wow. I think we went through most of this stuff. Oh, except for updates to the actual
so we
client.
talked about like Magic sets that will come out. Are there any changes to the actual client Arena? Well, they told us they're working on a mobile version. So that makes sense. A lot of people really want that, It's not something you or I are particularly waiting for. I don't think, but
No.
I know a lot of people are, so that'll be great
That'll
if
be
they
great
can
for
get
them.
a working
Absolutely.
mobile client for those people.
I mean, more players playing. That's all I want.
Yeah. The big thing I want is in-game tournament support.
Yes.
Not
Spectator
necessarily
mode.
for me, but for coverage of these events.
I really think the way that they're doing it right now, where you have one person's perspective of the game, and then the opponent is what it feels like is on top, and you can see just their hand. But it throws me off a little bit because it does feel like you're playing, which is nice, but at the same time, it immediately makes me root for one person. It makes me root for the person that's sitting in my seat, playing against this other opponent feeling person, because you play enough, that just inherently happens.
Yeah.
As opposed to it where it's like a football field where they're going from left to right.
Yeah.
It is harder to see the cards, I guess, because they're sideways.
Yeah, and having them be tapped, I don't know,
But I mean, that's what tournament play was like before. So
Yeah,
why is that a problem? I don't know.
or just even if they could just alternate easier which side they're looking from.
Or like we have spectator mode where we just see all the cards. Where like you see, all the cards are flipped, like as if you're gonna, you thought sees them and you can see all the cards in their hand.
Yeah.
Same thing, but it's just for spectators and not for the players.
Right.
Why not? Also, that way we won't have like different ads popping up while the games are playing, or like, things like that. So
and a lot of tech difficulties because right now the players are streaming through Discord. The coverage team is watching those streams, cutting out one player's hand, pasting that stream up above where that player's hand would be, and then you're watching the other guy's main stream
on Twitch
through Twitch.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of like it always has issues because they're going through all these different.
Exactly. So if we can just do all of it on Arena, then
just get Twitch integrated Arena tournament, spectator mode.
Yeah.
Because one thing that happens too, aside from just tech issues, is the hand that you're seeing for the opponent, the quote unquote opponent, is never in time with the mainstream. So a card leaves that hand, and then 3 seconds later you'll see it played on the board.
Exactly. Or like you'll see it faster than it's drawn, or the other way around. It just doesn't feel cohesive. Yeah, it doesn't sync very well. So I mean, I love watching it on Arena. It's really nice. I do think personally it is a bit easier to see some of the cards, at least half of them.
Yeah.
Or what's on the board. I wish that the commentators could see how many cards they have in their library, what's in the graveyard,
the other big thing, right?
all those kinds of things.
Commentators are like, does he have enough cards to?
Yeah, it's so hard for them to talk about these things when they don't have the information because they can't get it because they don't have the.
They need the player to hover over their graveyard and show that there's 6 cards in it for them to know they can bring back a row.
Yeah, so
or to be counting the whole time, but because they're constantly talking and answering chat and stuff,
it's just a lot. So I think spectator mode is a big thing that I want to see. Because it would just make things a lot better. I mean, I'm still going to watch all this stuff anyway because I'm into it, but I think it would just help the commentators a lot if they had that.
It would make the viewing experience better.
It would make it a lot better, especially if they're focusing on and pushing for it. Let's do it, man. I'm sure they have it in the works. Let's get it going.
Plus, it'd just be kind of cool, like, just with tournament support, if I could. Right now, I can't really interact with my friends. I can challenge you to a game, right?
Yeah.
What if, we had 8 friends and I could just create a tournament?
We just make a bracket?
We could play in.
You just drag and drop into a bracket and play a...
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like, a lot of games have that where you can just build your own custom room where you have a...
So I think they just need to work some more on that kind of stuff. I mean, people have been saying this for a while, so we're not saying anything that's absolutely new or groundbreaking. We're just, another voice saying, hey, that'd be awesome. Please do it.
But spectator mode to make the viewing better. That's like the one thing I would say. The big change would be nice because, I love to watch the MPL player, like the best players in the world play the game, and I'd like it if that was a lot more seamless. Like, it's always so strange how many tech problems they always have.
I know.
It's like, this is, sometimes these players, like, there's $150,000 in prizes for this event.
Yeah.
And I don't even get to see it.
Yeah, come on.
Like, every time you and I tried to watch.
Yeah, we could never really watch. Yeah, we tried to watch again, and then there was, like, some problems with the championship.
Like, both times that our players were playing each other from our fantasy drafts, and then we tried to watch it. We couldn't watch it either time.
Because something happened. So, yeah, I would love to see something like that happen. But with that, I really think I need another beer.
All right. Let's go back to the old system and throw in another beer break.
Let's get another beer break in here. Alrighty. So, surprise, surprise, we picked our own beers.
Yeah.
Who could have thunk?
To be fair, though, they were both awesome.
This was actually probably the hardest choice we've had so far.
I think
what a great way to just, finish 2020 with a really hard choice.
I think the combined quality of these two beers is the highest yet.
Yeah, sure. I think the secret to good beer is it has to be purple.
Yeah, that's what we've learned today.
You need purple beer for it to be really good. Because holy crap. Well, I also love blueberries and you love blackberries, so.
Yeah, just made sense.
Yeah, maybe we should just be like the Berry Bros.
Berry Bros. Well, that's for a different podcast.
Oh, yeah. We'll start a new podcast called Berry Bros.
Berry Bros.
Where we talk about all our favorite berries and pies and beer. That's purple. Just purple things. Yeah. It's a purple podcast.
The purple podcast.
It's so dumb. Okay. So
we probably get more listeners than we do for this one.
Yeah, probably. We'll get besides the one listener we have for this podcast.
Yeah.
Let's just that's probably smart. Yeah, this podcast is going well. Let's keep working on more. Let's just make more podcasts with the same people. It's just
we have 138 podcasts. Each of them has a listener, so
we just have one for every single day. Or whatever. It doesn't matter. Hey, let's rate these beers.
Sure.
Are we doing that first? Yeah, let's do that first. So which...
normally we do that at the end now in our updated system.
I don't know. I've had a couple beers. Which should we talk about this one first?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
Really good.
So, sorry, this one as in... This is the
blueberry
chocolate coffee vanilla sour from Collective Arts in Stillwater. The one I brought, I think it's really good.
The darker purple one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mine's more of like a pinkish, lighter purple.
Yeah. Kinda. So this one is less sour than that one, for sure.
Yes.
You get a strong coffee and chocolate, I think, with the blueberry.
I really get the chocolate as an aftertaste.
Interesting.
The first thing that hits me is the blueberry, and the last thing that lingers is the chocolate.
Is the chocolate. I think it's great. For being something that looks like it's supposed to be a stout, and then being this, I'm really into it.
P.S. Can we get them to make a blueberry chocolate coffee vanilla stout?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome too.
Yeah. So, I really like it. But it was so surprising, but I don't know if I can give it diamond. I think it's going to be a platinum for me.
I think I was going to give it diamond.
Really?
I think under the old system, I might have mythicked it. But Zach...
Whoa.
Now, several weeks ago now, Zach yelled at me for being too generous with my...
I yelled at us. Okay, wait, let me give me the...
I think it's diamond for me. It's good, man. It's really good.
It is really good. Maybe I'm being too hard on beer.
I think you were just worried that we're too soft, but now we have a actual really good beer.
Okay, this is really good. I guess I was thinking it was going to be so weird. It was going to throw me off.
Yeah, it's not as weird as it sounds.
It's really not. It's just really tasty. Okay, you changed me. We're going diamond. Let's go diamond. Diamond. Yeah. The new diamond. Diamond. Whatever. Keep saying diamond.
Just say it a few more times.
Diamond. It's a diamond.
Got it.
They're a boy's best friend.
And what do we think about the Jelly King?
Well, I love Jelly King.
I think Jelly King's legendary for me. I kind of want to just give this mythic.
Mm-hmm. I'm super on board with that. Jelly King is like, when someone comes to Toronto, whatever Jelly Kings they have, I've never had a Jelly King I didn't love.
Yeah, they're always great. Yeah.
Every single one has been just smack it out of the park. So good. If people say they don't like sour beer, I'm like, drink a Jelly King. Like,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. When people are like, oh, I don't like sours, I wasn't that big on the idea of sour beers either.
Yeah.
And I tried, this was the one that convinced me. And now I'm always willing to try them. And sometimes you do get the sour beer that tastes more like juice. You know, it's like, this is like juice that has a beer flavor going on. This is beer first with a little sour.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially this raspberry blackberry one, choice, real
Yeah,
good.
this is one of the better Jelly Kings I think.
Probably might even be better than the original one that I used to when I worked at the restaurant I used to work at. When people would come and they'd be like, "Hey, what do I do?" I'm like, "Go to Trinity Bellwoods. No, sorry, go to Bellwoods Brewery."
Yeah.
Let me start again.
Go to Bellwoods Brewery.
Go to Bellwoods Brewery, drink a Jelly King in the park at Trinity Bellwoods.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. Super fun. Well, I mean, I don't actually do that if any cops are listening. Yeah, we don't do that. Yeah. But great experience. Jelly King, thumbs up. I probably almost, without even tasting it, I could probably give anything that says Jelly King mythic.
Yeah, I've had enough of them now that I know that they're always rocks.
I almost brought one a couple weeks ago and thought I would wait, but you beat me to the punch.
Had to.
So
got to start the new year off right.
That's right. Yeah, or end the last year good.
Yeah, I guess that's technically what we're doing since it's the 31st.
It's the 31st of December.
Definitely.
If we haven't mentioned that before, it is the 31st of December.
Yeah.
Today, that's the day.
Right now.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for this part. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So we are doing some hot takes that we are talking about for next year. What do we think is going to happen? Call some shots. Some of these are big shots. Some of them are over unders. But we're trying to bet. We're in the betting mood for the new year.
Yeah.
We haven't exactly figured out what the bets are going to be.
We couldn't come to a consensus. We threw some ideas around.
Yeah.
First, we're just like beer, but we already have bets with beer going on.
Yeah, buy a beer for them. Yeah, we do that. We were already doing that with the other one.
Then we thought about water bets.
Yeah, water bets where you like, if you lose, you get water thrown in your face.
Then we briefly considered combining those two ideas.
Yeah, I think beer bets where you throw beer in someone's face seems pretty fun. Actually,
that's got to be it, right?
Especially if we do all of them next December, where it's like freezing.
Right,
would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
So
my friends and I actually have played this game before.
Yeah.
We were at a kegger in university once, and as keggers tend to happen, you meet these guys, random people you don't know.
Yeah.
But they were like, "Oh, do you guys want to play Cerveza Face?" We're like, "Cerveza Face? What the hell is that?" And so they're like, "Oh wow, you haven't heard of Cerveza Face? Well, we went on this trip to
Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico, and we learned this game. And the game is you play rock paper scissors. Whoever loses gets on their knees and closes their eyes and chugs their beer, and the other person splashes beer in their face while they're doing that. That's literally the whole game. So this could be our bet.
That sounds. I mean, yeah,
Let's get a 2-4 of the cheapest beer we can,
and just play that game for each. I mean, but the thing, so you would count up all the ones that you lost, and we'd have to.
No, we'll do it as they happen, right?
Oh, okay. So we just play it like 10 times throughout the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cerveza Face. I mean, yeah, Wizards will definitely be super excited.
Yeah, they're going to promote this podcast now.
Because we're going to do something like this. Sure, Cerveza Face.
Put that on social media.
Yeah, we're going to look like such assholes. We could also do slap bet. Which is something that was like coined in How I Met Your Mother, where you just get to slap someone as hard as you can. But that is a little bit more violent, and there is no alcohol involved. So maybe we'll do Cerveza Face and slap bet after we do Cerveza Face.
We'll see which one people react to better.
Yeah. Okay, so first hot take. All right. Oldie but a goodie. Definitely talked about this one before.
You probably know our positions on it.
You already know, but I am saying, okay, this is my stance. You already know. Okay. My hands are in the air. Historic Brawl will be a permanent format by July 2021.
Yeah. So you'll be able to play Historic Brawl whenever you want.
Yes.
On Arena in July.
Yes. That's it.
I'm opposed. I'm on the no side of that.
How could you be on the no?
I'm not saying I don't want it.
I guess we're not really debating, are we?
Yeah.
No, we're just calling shots. Okay, so you don't really want it?
Oh no, I'm not saying I don't want it. I'm saying I don't think it will happen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm saying I think it's going to happen.
Great.
I think that Wizards sees all the Commander players and wants as many in Arena as possible. They want to grab them and pull them in, and I'm with them. I'm right there. I'm with Mark. I got my net. I'm like, let's get these Commander players playing Arena. Come on, let's go. So it's going to happen. Historic Brawl. You can call me on August 1st and be like, hey, where is it? I'll be like, it just happened
Cerveza
yesterday.
Face. Yeah.
No, it's going to happen.
Well, Cerveza phase will happen either way.
Yeah, that's true. Cerveza phase is going to happen either way. So July 2021, we're going to have Historic Brawl.
Actually, this is kind of smart on your side, because if you lose, that's happening in the summer.
Yes.
It's possible it happens to me in the winter. If they just do it in like February.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Especially because we have this, we're going to see this event coming up in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And so
It's just wildly popular. Nobody play that
It's
event.
going to be extremely popular.
Do not play.
People are going to be super excited. They're especially going to be either like chilling, doing nothing. Maybe they're not back in school yet. Maybe there's no work at the moment or anything that's crazy. Everyone's playing Magic. Boom.
But I read somewhere that there's a bug that if you play in that Historic Brawl event, you lose all your wild cards.
That's not.
Yeah, it just deletes from your account, and you'll
That's
never,
a lie. Jeff is lying to
never
you.
get them
He's
again.
absolutely lying. Playing the event. It's going to be super fun. Historic Brawl, July 2021. Woo! Anyway. Okay, so the next one. You want to read it?
Yeah, so I don't know. Should we put like a time limit on this, or is this just in 2021?
That's the time limit. That's a
Is
year.
a whole year?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I got the better end of this one then. So I'm saying Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, will be banned or suspended
Okay.
in Historic in 2021.
Oh no, now that you say it, it makes it feel like we should have something shorter because I said by July because I was trying to call high. Okay. Wait.
I don't know. This one feels like just so likely to happen. This card is so prevalent.
Can we say by September maybe?
September. Okay.
Okay.
That's 9 months. That's pretty
9 months. That's pretty good. That's a baby.
All right.
All right.
Jeez.
All right. September. I'm adding it to the notes. We
Okay,
don't forget.
so I'm saying yes. Zach, you were saying no.
Uro is going to survive
Yeah.
past September at least. Maybe it'll be banned October 12th.
Uro does have a history of lasting longer than you think it would.
Yeah.
It did that in Standard for a really
So
long
I
time.
think that we're going to get some more cool, fun toys for Historic, and Uro will not
I see.
be a
So you're
problem.
taking the position that the new cards will be even more busted.
Yes. Yeah.
Then Uro will be the
That's
savior.
my- yes,
It'll be
exactly.
the hero we need.
So we're gonna need something to fight these new cards that are gonna be busted from Call Time and Harry Potter, and and I think that Uro is gonna stay past September.
All right.
So
Next one goes a little bit back into the client realm.
yes,
Updates to the client. So you're taking the pro position on this.
So this is gonna happen. All right.
Okay.
You can mark my words, and this is all 2020.
I mean, we're marking all of this.
I keep
aren't we?
saying
Otherwise,
2020.
what's the point?
I know. Okay. So whatever. 2021. There, you will be able to share your deck list with friends and your opponents.
Okay.
Okay. So let me rework it a little bit. So
Yeah.
you won't be able to share it with your opponents, but your opponents can take your deck list.
Right. So
You won't just like
match,
win the match and then send your deck list to them.
so BM.
That's so shitty. That's not what I'm saying.
Actually, I want that.
Yeah. Where your
By the
opponent
way.
your opponent says good game, and you just send your deck list. That's like the worst thing ever. Like, hey, bro, you need a new deck. That'd be so rude.
You should be able to send it before you win. Instead of the premature good game,
You
get the
just
premature
they
deck
get a little
list.
message that says added to your decks.
Yeah.
Everyone
It
just
just
starts
auto imports it
yeah,
into your
just straight
collection.
into it, and like so everyone starts running 75 decks so that like you can't get any more, and you're like
Right.
screw you. No, that's not what I'm saying. You can't just send your decks to people. I'm saying that you can send it to your friends. You can send deck lists to your friends, but you can grab your opponent's deck list after you've played
Right.
them.
So it says defeat.
Yeah,
And,
and
then,
then
it
there's-
says view opponent's deck list.
exactly like right next to the view battlefield thing,
Or import.
or
whatever.
all that kind of stuff. We will have this.
Okay. I'm taking the no position on this. They've obviously already told us they're working on sharing deck lists with friends. That's not the part. I
Yeah.
think the opponent's part, I don't know. I don't know if Wizards going to do that.
Doesn't seem that hard. Just
It's easy to implement for sure, but will they? I've played other CCGs or
Yeah.
TC or digital card games
that do this.
that have this feature, and it's really cool.
Exactly. So, why not have it in the best card game?
The best, yeah.
So, I don't see why they would even let other people try to compete.
Again, I want this to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say
You're just
it's
saying
not
no.
going to
All right.
happen.
You whatever.
All right,
Okay.
we got a really fun one
Ooh,
here.
I like this.
So we
one.
were talking about this earlier.
Yes.
That Omnath Locus of Creation
Mm-hmm.
lasted 25 days before it got banned.
Exactly. After release on
After
Arena.
release on Arena.
Yes.
So it actually lasted like 18 days, or because it released on a Thursday on Arena, technically it lasted like 17 days from actual release. But we'll go 25 because it's an Arena podcast. You were
also
able to
25
play.
is just a really good number.
Yeah, we love that number.
Yeah.
You were able to play Omnath on Arena for 25 days, basically. The question is, will there be a card released in 2021 that's so busted it gets banned faster than Omnath? So for those of you who don't know, that's ridiculously fast, 25 days.
Probably the fastest any card has ever been banned.
Yeah, other than some cards got pre-banned when they made new formats.
Except for, it's going to be banned. It'll be banned in an Arena format.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about, what is it, the Is It Companion, Lutri or whatever.
Right, which got banned in Brawl.
And Commander.
Yeah. Oh, it got banned in Brawl, though.
Oh, that is a Commander.
Yeah.
Okay, but
that doesn't count.
Okay, we're talking about like not a card that they made and then we're like, okay, we're gonna ban this before the card comes out. Right. We're not talking about that because that did happen. We are talking about a card that is played and then they realize it's so busted that it gets banned 24 days after it's released.
Yes. So my stance is yes. They're going to print a card so good it gets banned faster than Omnath did.
Yeah, absolutely not. That is not going to happen. They've learned from their mistakes. They know we're not going to see those cards in the next few sets. And Call Time's probably the closest one. I think the other ones because of the way that they make it takes them about 2 years to make a set for Magic. That's how long in advance they work. I think they may have seen, we're getting to the point where they already know about Oko.
Right.
And so they're going to start slowing down, right? We're not going to see as many. It's not going to be. We're going to have some busted stuff, but not Omnath busted, but like Uro, like busted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think they're going to push the boundaries.
Okay. This one's fun. I like this one. I say. Okay, so this is an over-under. Okay, I'm not going to say what I'm saying yet, but we get a lot of emotes, right? You get emotes and stickers. So will there be over 60 new emotes and stickers in 2021?
So I took the over on this.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's about 15%, right?
Yeah, it would be a little bit more if you do the over.
Right.
Are we counting 60 at all? And what do over-unders usually like? Do you count... Who gets 60? Do they both get 60?
I think 60, we both splash beer in each
even.
other's face simultaneously.
Yeah, as we both drink?
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't get 60. So if they do exactly 60, we both splash beer as we drink beer.
Yeah, that's a push. That's what we call that.
Yeah, and we'll have somebody else film it, I guess.
Against the spread, right?
Yeah, it's push against the spread. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So it's basically saying that each set you'll get 15 emotes and stickers. Or 15
on
altogether.
Average.
Yeah, on average. Per set. I actually didn't think about how Innistrad is 2 sets. So that might be something that...
Oh, do we want to make it 75 then?
Do we want to do 75 so it's...
Because then it's like 15.
But do you think they'll... I don't know. I think 60 is fine. I think I'm okay with 60.
Okay.
But I'm giving the under. I think they're going to... they saw that they gave us 20 in Zendikar Rising.
Right.
I think they're going to slow way
Your theory
down.
was they were just testing out and see what emotes work, and now they're going to...
and they're going to slow it down with some of the emotes and just like calm down. Maybe there's just way too many stickers. Or we're just going to get 5 new stickers with each set and maybe 5 new emotes. And so that'll be less. I don't know how much that is, but less.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Perfect.
The next one, friend drafting.
Yes. So basically...
Will this become available in 2021?
So we're saying, will you be able to have your friends list? And then if you get 8 people... draft with all 8 of your friends in a pod. Yeah. So you know every person in your draft pod. Or where you can like 4 of you can link together in a party or whatever and then find 4 other people that need to draft. And you get to draft like that. Where you can know a friend in it.
So I said no. This won't be a thing in 2021. I want this to happen. And I think this is part of the tournament structure. May be great for Magic. But I think they are just kind of accepting that they're pro level play. Like the reason I could see them doing this is that they want to do like feature pro drafts on Arena. So
Yeah.
now they can get all their pros in an 8-man draft.
Yeah.
And they can have spectator mode and stuff.
Sure.
I think they're just moving away from having limited events in their top tier of competitive. So that removes their incentive to make this happen.
That is true.
But this would be great, and a lot of people want it.
It would be really great. A lot of people do want it. I also really want it. And I don't know if I want to bet on this one.
The thing is, like, it would have to be Phantom, and it would have to be like you don't get the cards.
I don't know why it would have to be Phantom though.
They just don't want. I think they want to avoid the idea of people setting up so that one player gets a super awesome deck and crushes everyone if they play against other actual people.
I know.
You know what I mean? And so once they decide it has to be Phantom, which I think there will be people in there.
All right. Well, then that's still a draft. So I'm going yes.
Okay.
As long as you can draft with your buddies, let's do it. It's going to happen in 2021. Absolutely. Next one. This is actually something I hadn't thought about very much, but having a mythic leaderboard. So once you get to mythic, there's numbers.
Yeah.
For the first 1,200 people, right?
You actually get numbers a bit beyond that.
Well, yes, but I mean,
I think
like,
you're numbered to 1,500.
Okay.
The top 1,200
Right.
qualify for that.
correct. Yeah. Sorry. I've never been there, so I don't know. But
I've
basically,
been ranked like 1498 or something.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I know it goes to at least that.
at least that. So basically, this would be a leaderboard saying who is above you or below you, and who's around you, right? So it's great for shit talking. Love that. Anytime you can shit talk, this
Because currently the only way we know who's number one is if we log into Twitter
and they post it. Which you can know. Austin Bursavage is number 2. He was number 2 back back in like December at some point.
on December 31st.
yeah.
He's no longer
He's
necessarily number
not
2.
yeah he's not necessarily number 2. But you can just check that out. Go on Twitter. Don't ask me. Go
Yeah,
on
this
Twitter.
this is something every other game I've played has. I can just like go to the at least top 200.
Yeah,
Like maybe they don't include the top 1,200.
exactly.
Although that'd be great. And other games usually also have like some sort of MMR. It tells you how far back you are from that
Yeah,
person.
exactly.
I think that's not what we're talking about, that they necessarily have that. But you're saying they will have this?
They will have a leaderboard. There's going to be a lot. I'm saying there's going to be a lot of
Yeah.
things that they're doing this next year.
It's clear who's the optimist.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of.
Except me, I'm the optimist about a card getting banned super fast.
Yeah, well, that's not an optimist, is it? Is it? I don't know. We like bans. Whatever.
See, I see that as Wizards taking swift action on a mistake.
Okay. Well,
Learning quickly.
I'm going to say there is going to be a leaderboard. I don't think it's that hard to implement.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of changes with Arena going into this next year because there was they were using it so heavily this last year that they're seeing a lot of the stuff that they need to have. It became a big mainstay, really important to competitive play, which they're putting a lot of effort and money into.
Yeah.
Let's beef this puppy up.
Yeah, I'm taking the no on this mostly for funsies. I do think it could go either way, though. I think this is something that, like, I'm not a coding expert, but it's hard.
You're not a coding expert?
Well, not an expert.
Okay.
It's hard for me to imagine that this is particularly difficult to implement.
Yeah.
So, and even if it doesn't have to update every minute,
No, every hour.
Yeah, like whatever. Even if it just updated every day, that's something, right?
Exactly, because at least when you win, you're at number 1. You're 1 for a day.
Right.
Everyone gets their day, right?
Yeah. Unless you were like number 1 and then someone else overtook you, and then when you're like, no, I was number 1. I swear.
I took the picture. Yeah. And then all your friends are like, for sure, that's photoshopped.
But I also think, and I think this is something people will like. So this would basically be universally met with like praise.
Yeah, and the people that don't like it, then they just won't look at it. Like
It's
it
the
doesn't
thing, right? Like nobody can really object to it,
it doesn't really like
and a
like,
lot of people would really like it.
exactly. I've played those games where you can see the leaderboards, and I'll just completely like just stop looking at it.
Right.
Like playing Mortal Kombat, and you're like, I'm not even going to look at the leaderboard. It doesn't matter.
Now, there's also this combines with the grabbing an opponent's deck list thing we talked about earlier. Before the show, we were talking about, I've played games where you can check the leaderboards and then check what deck that player has been playing recently and copy it into your collection.
So there you go.
That would be great. But I also think this is probably a fairly low priority for them. So while it's probably not hard to implement, and people will basically always get a positive feedback, I just don't think. I think there are a lot of things that they are working on, and this might just
not one of them.
Just kind of might get left by the wayside.
All right, well, get ready to chug. We also want to just take some shots. I know we do a lot of like, obviously we do fantasy, which is super fun.
Love it.
But who's gonna take the cake this year? This one's we're gonna know sooner.
Yeah.
Around summertime. So MPL player, who is going to win the MPL league?
My vote is for Paulo Vitor Damadorosa.
That's ridiculous. He's terrible.
I know. What a dumb vote. Right?
Yeah, what a horrible, horrible player.
What has he ever won?
Yeah, nothing. He's not like the player of the year from 2016.
Not like the winningest player ever.
No, definitely not him. It's definitely going to be Gabriel Nassif. Duh.
It's hard to argue with that, man. That guy top 8s everything.
He top 8s everything. And so I think all those points, I'm just expecting him to top 8 the next tournaments that we're in.
Pretty sure they're currently like tied for first place in the MPL.
Just about.
Or PV's in
I think
first.
PV's in first. He has one more point, I think.
Oh, so yeah.
I
need to give you like
actually, I can check right now. Yes. So, no, they do have, they both
I think they're tied, right?
They're both tied at 18.
Yeah. Because Gabe top 8'd.
Yes, because Gabe top 8'd and PV didn't.
Right, he got out on breakers.
Because Gabe didn't win any matches in the top 8. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah. That point mattered.
So obviously we just picked the top folks.
Yeah.
But with rivals, what are we thinking?
So I knew you were just going to be the guy who just picks LSV.
I did pick LSV.
Yeah, so.
Why would I not pick LSV?
So I knew you were going to be that guy.
Yeah.
I decided to go with...
What a horrible... You picked the guy. You picked PV. What are you talking about?
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm allowed to say
okay. That. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
You just pick whoever's in first place.
Yeah.
Although he's actually in second.
He's in second place, so get out of my face.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's tied for first, but whatever.
Well, I'm taking the third place guy, so I'm coming out of left field here. I'm taking Jacob Wilson. He's a great player. He's, used to be a... Yeah, used to compete at the highest level. I think he might have taken a little bit of a break, and now he's back and showing that he still has it.
Yep.
By doing really well in the Rivals League.
Boom.
And Canadian. Yeah.
And Canadian, yes. That's the only reason you like him. I'm just kidding.
Not true, but it is a significant factor. Yeah.
Yeah. So we also just have some ideas. I mean, okay, so we should talk about this. Magic has gone through a lot of like competitive structure changes over the last.
Yeah, like the MPL. We already talked about how they did something different.
Exactly, and different than last year, different than the year before.
And if you get confused about why there's Pro Tours and Mythic Championships and Mythic Invitationals
and Grand Finals,
Championships, and
League weekends.
Yeah.
That's because they're all.
That's because they are confusing. They're all kind of the same thing,
but different.
Yeah.
That's why they're named different things.
So this new system has usurped the old one. We don't really have Pro Tours now. Instead, we have these championships that are basically the equivalent of a Pro Tour.
Yeah.
That we have these days. So if you're not, it's totally understandable to not keep up with this. Mm-hmm. So the question now is, have we found the perfect ground here?
Is this the structure that we are going to keep?
We're going to have league weekends and championships.
Yeah. Are we going to keep this structure? Mm-hmm. Is it going to change at all this next year in 2021?
Yeah.
So with this, I think we just have the same answer. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
it's not going to change drastically.
Yeah. I like the balance we've found. I like the MPL League weekends.
I think they're fun.
And I like the Zendikar Rising Championship.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say is we've only done the first split, so it is hard to judge it.
But by this first bit, it feels pretty good.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of inevitable that it changes a little bit.
It will change a little bit, but I don't think it's going to change as much as it has in the past, which has been just complete overhauls.
Yeah.
like we got to redo some stuff.
Right. I think they're really close to the right system.
Yeah,
here.
and I think it's pretty fun. I think your way of talking about kind of regular season and postseason makes sense a lot. And that's basically what they're doing with interim like championships in between. Which is fun.
With like
tournaments.
Yeah.
To kind of see how people are doing. So I think we're gonna probably keep this model. So that's probably the only one we're not really split on.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we also have
this is a big one. Everyone wants to know the answer to this.
This is the big one.
Yeah.
Okay. Competitive Magic, will it return to paper?
In 2021.
In 2021,
Yeah.
of course. So I think because of the whole year that we've had, what Arena is, the fact that we're Arena podcast, no, we're not going back to paper. Why would we go back to paper? I think that the viewing experience is just better, and they're going to continue to make it better.
Right.
In Arena, we're going to have all these fantastic Arena things. People are playing on Arena. It gets more people playing. We don't have to fly as much. And I don't think that we are going to be out of the woods with this disease as fast as people are hoping into 2021.
No, that's obviously the biggest factor. There's two factors here. Like, how long is COVID really going to last where it's safe to do something like this? And does Wizards even want to host a big paper tournament
And
afterwards?
push it, right? So I do see like Command Fest or like Magic Fest or things like that where you have people come together and play. That might start to happen. I don't think competitive Magic.
Well, Magic Fest definitely would be considered competitive, like a Grand Prix.
Yeah, but if they don't have a main event that is competitive, right?
Yeah. I'm thinking like a Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like they might have some sort of gathering where people get together and play. They might come up with something.
Yeah. So you're saying that people will play paper Magic,
Pro-
but there
they-
won't be like a big Wizard sanction.
I don't think there's going to be a big Wizard sanctioned tournament where you are fighting to get into a top 8 to do a thing.
Yeah.
I think there might be. I still feel very hesitant. There might be something where people get together and there's like possibly vendors and artists and stuff and side events.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's going to be a main event.
I chose to be optimistic about this one. I'm thinking there will be a Grand Prix like event in paper held right at the end. I'm thinking like November, December.
Okay.
That might be enough time for certain areas to kind of have their laws fleshed out on what type of thing is possible with this and give Wizards enough time to plan one.
I mean, we are getting vaccines up here soon.
Yeah.
Or we just had them.
They've worked out great.
Yeah, they just people just got them. It was, I don't remember. But anyway,
they will have been rolled out.
Yes.
Now
they are rolled out now.
Yeah.
This is great. I love speaking.
We should just do everything a month in advance.
Yeah, basically. It's definitely keeps the episode short.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of how we feel.
By the way, I think I'm the underdog in the last one. I didn't mention that, but I do think.
I think you're the underdog. No, I'm probably the underdog in most of them, actually.
Yeah,
I just want to drink more beer.
In the having like a paper Grand Prix, I think I'm the underdog. I think, like you're saying, people are probably overambitious about how quickly we get COVID under
Though
wraps.
it is the States, so who knows?
Yeah, but that they still let people go to football games, right?
Yeah. So I mean, they stopped doing that.
I know, but they did
for a while. I really thought that the NFL season was just gonna be gone. So
yeah.
I was surprised by that. It's still happening. So, but yeah. So those are our hot takes. What are your hot takes for this this next year? What are you excited for? What sets do you think are awesome? Why do you think Kaldheim's going to be the best?
Yeah. Why do you? What's your favorite set you're most excited for, and why is it Kaldheim?
Yeah. Why is it Kaldheim? How many beer flavors do you think should be in one single beer? To make it cohesive.
We want to hear all of this.
We want to hear. Just talk to us. We're really lonely. It's there's a pandemic this year. Just talk to us.
Guys.
It's the holidays. Reach out. Say hey. We're at Arena Regulars on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, and also check us out. Look for us on Arena. You might play against us.
Yeah.
Our account name is Arena Regulars Podcast.
And if you beat us, send us your deck list.
Yeah, please, like right away.
Yeah, and you can find us at Arena Regulars on Instagram and Twitter. That's how you send your podcast.
And please try to send it a little before, like
deck
right
list.
when you draw the card that kills us.
Yeah. Stop.
Alt tab.
Yeah, we'll see the road.
Yeah, we'll wait for you to.
And we'll
double
know
row.
exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Also, if you like the show, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us out. It makes a huge difference to make more people see the podcast and get us out there.
Yeah, and if you're not listening on Apple, if you could just subscribe or
Yeah,
follow,
all those things.
if you haven't already done that.
Just say hey. Also, I think our resolution for the show.
Yeah, we have a New Year's resolution.
We have one New Year's resolution for the show, and we want our listener to review us on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, that's our goal, to get one person. To
Our listener, our one listener.
Yeah.
To review us. So we're talking directly to you now.
Yeah, you know who you are.
You know who you are. Yeah. But you are the best. So
you're the
thanks.
best. Yeah.
And with that, good night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good night.
Kept it short.
All right. That's fine.